is not just another zombie movie. There's these deeper themes that are running through that you can maybe pick up on.
Oh, Adam, this is great. I'm speaking with Adam MacDonald, the writer, director, and producer of This Is Not a Test. Adam, thank you so much for the time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy talking about the film, so I appreciate it.
Honestly, it's so much fun.
Oh,
There's
good.
there's a lot to love, and this is not a test, and this is not a line. It
That was
is.
good. Thank you.
It's so much fun. Where did it come from?
It came from Courtney Summers' book, who's an Canadian author. She had a book of the same name, This Is Not a Test. I was doing research for another project and I found it and I fell in love with it. So I thought, it could translate into a film because the book takes place a lot in her head. It's in her thoughts, right? That's the narrative. So it's always tricky to translate that on film. Good example is Trainspotting. You either do like a voiceover narrative or whatever, like a voiceover, but I didn't want to do that. So I fell in love with it. I wrote the script and then it kind of like I optioned it, got the script, and then kind of idled for a little bit. Some companies were interested. And then I met Sybil Louis, and she is the producer on this, and she really like she's fantastic. She's a juggernaut. So she took it. We went, and then within a year, we're filming, and so that's how it came about.
Well, of course I have not read the book, but it is
Hmm.
fascinating that you took that translation. That's got to be a hard translation to go from within someone's mind entirely to a third person perspective. Was that a challenge for you?
I Yes, it was a challenge. I like I went through a difficult period in my teens, so like I could relate to Sloane. That's what anchored me the whole time. So even what she was feeling, I was like, okay, I can speak to this, and many people can. That's why I think people will, it'll affect some people and they can relate to it. But the thing with it's like when she's thinking, it's like she's creating these images in her mind, right? So I'm filtering out what are the images I want to convey that? How can I convey this in images? So that was the challenge. And I love making films and everything because I like to, it's the image that with coupled with the music and the sound design and the image and all together, it just can make something beautiful. And in her book, she had these just electric prose. And I'm like, I can see that. So I'm going to translate that way. And then sometimes you got to like put in some things to help the narrative. Like you saw the movie. There's a birthday card in the movie, and that's not in the book. But I did that only because how can I show not tell? Because I
Right.
didn't want her at the end to like sit in the car and say, "Hey, I'm feeling better, thanks." Like I didn't want to say it, right? But you know what I mean? But she does it really subtly, really beautifully in the book. And I said, I need something to anchor that. I need something to help translate that. And the card was the key with her sister and their mantra, which is not in the book, but that helps us, get through what she's feeling. But they would in the book they talk about it, like they'd be in scenes which I love. It's like, oh, when we went through like the rec center was a disaster. They'll say stuff like that in the book because the book like 90% of it takes place in the school.
Hmm.
So I was like, good, I'll show that. And the beginning of the book, it does whiplash like that at the beginning. In the film, like it starts off and then all of a sudden after the credits, you're in the school and then you're out, and it's like you're getting whiplash from how these people are feeling through this nightmare apocalypse. Like that's I'm trying to convey what they're feeling. You can't hang on to anything. They're just grasping at anything till the movie settles when they're in the school. And it's similar in the book. And I was wondering, how can I get away with that? Because tonally, it's like you've seen the film, it
Yeah.
comes out of the gate like, like it just goes boom. And you're like, how can we sustain this? Right. So,
That's really interesting because yeah, that's right. There is that sort of erratic nature. It does eventually settle down into the school, sort of. I mean, it's still got it, but
right.
like that opening sequence, you're like, where are we? That's completely disorientating.
It's what they're feeling. So I was trying, like, I took a risk and I was like, let's do that. Because you feel that in the book a little bit.
I have well, since we're talking about the book, I was interested about this in the film, but maybe this was in the book as well. Um, Y2K
Yeah.
is and I was like, oh, and now the cell phone should have been my first clue, but certainly the Y2K era, which unfortunately I remember, which
Same, same,
which I
same.
yeah, I mean, just means I'm not that young. Um, but was that interesting to, I mean, I guess it's not delved in too much in because it's more about these kids in this moment, but was that interesting for you to revisit and what does that bring to the film?
Good question. I have to expose myself here because I read the book 10 times. I wrote the first draft. I was on to the second draft. I showed Courtney a draft because I really wanted her involved. I wanted her to not give it the blessing so much, but help me, right? Help me keep it on track and honor what she wrote. And I felt like a fool because and I'm not exaggerating, probably the sixth time I read the book, I realized it wasn't set in the 90s. And I was like, uh-oh, why am I in the 90s? And then I realized I'm probably projecting from my time, because it happened to me, happened in 1996, similar to Sloan. And then I was like, I just chose 1998 because for some reason, I don't know, it was like a benchmark. And I was like, I thought it was in 1998. So the Y2K of it, but like they were saying, because it really started with 95, 96, they started hiring people going to like companies to try to reset the zero. So go to continue past zero, right? Like they would be there for months, like a year, resetting all these computers, eh? Oh, it's ridiculous. And then now that you're saying that, it's funny, maybe it's like Y2K is a bit of a nod to the world ending anyway, right? For these kids, with that like alt universe where it did end. All the computers did shut off, and the world found itself in the dark age again, in the Stone Age again. And so, yeah, maybe it's like another metaphor, like, oh, these kids didn't get out of it. I don't know, because I know there's a sticker on the computer, in the library.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's there, but
Yeah.
it's not like this is a Y2K film, but
No,
it's
yeah,
it's right
but
there at the same time. It's very interesting to see.
I don't
Um,
know. Yeah, because some people pick up on it. I just think aesthetically, it worked. It's what I could speak to. And again, I think I just projected because of my period of what I went through. And also like, yeah, setting in the 90s just made sense to me. And I go with my gut as much as I can, especially making these movies. I go with what inspires me. And it just worked. And the clothes was fun. And we were very lucky because the clothes of today are 90s again. So when they're shopping, they're like, they didn't have to, search for the vintage cuts and everything. They're doing it now. So it's like, okay, great. It was easier. And it was fun to live in that world a little bit. It was a lot of fun. The cars, the music, and it was on set. And like, of course, we're talking. I was doing the U.S. press the other day, but in Canadian, speaking to this Canadian, we have Age of Electric in the movie.
yeah.
There's their music, right? And they came to one of the showings. It was great. So, and that song was in 1998 as well. So it was nice to see that on the screen, them watching it. It was cool.
I remember that era well.
Yeah, me too.
I think the journey of these characters is pretty interesting too. And I mean, certainly in zombie films or, of infected or however you want to describe them in this films of this nature. I mean, they often serve as a metaphor for deeper conversations, and we see some of that in here. And I would love to get your thoughts on the idea of choosing to live, because we see Sloane. Certainly, when the film opens, we see Sloane in a very difficult moment of her life as she's taking that with her throughout the film and working it out. And I wondered, in your mind, for these characters, what is the importance of choosing to live in a situation like this?
Mm. I think the important word is choosing, that you realize that you feel you don't have a choice at one point. You feel you're underwater, you feel you can't breathe, you're at the bottom of the ocean, you're carrying that weight every day, everything is great, things don't taste the same, you're just in an absolute spiral. And you think the only way out is to end it, um, to have relief. It's either you're asleep or you find relief. So to find a lead character in that situation where she just can't go on anymore, it's the irony. And what I think is beautiful about the book is takes the world around her to end, to see it. That's the metaphor, obviously. The zombies are turmoil and everything. But like this, to see like that in that ending, she finds her beginning because she's faced Now she's faced to wake up for a second. It's either this instinctual survival. She has no chance to do anything. She's ripped from her own emotions in that moment. And then she's getting strung along with these other people. And through these other people, she's seeing hope in flashes. What I love about the book is she comes face to face with, I think the term we use now is unlifing yourself, but she sees it. And then she sees the consequences of it. And it slowly changes her. And then with Reese, and she's talking to Reese and sees his personality, how he sees her. She's never seen herself the way he sees her. And she's thinking, oh, well, maybe there is room for me on the other side. And through these episodes and seeing real death in front of her, it kind of wakes her up and shakes her a little bit to say, maybe I have a little bit of life left in me. And in that moment, again, with the sister, which I think is beautiful, is, when she's talking to her with her hair and everything, she's like, I'm never going to let him hurt us again. I'm never, I promise you. She looks at her, and I was talking to the actress, Joelle, who did a fantastic job, was like, if you're going to mean anything in this movie, it's that one line, never again. And by the end, she did what she said. I'm not going to give it away, but she did, said not in the way that we think she would. So she's sitting there by herself at the end. You saw that. And the dad, dad is where he is. And it's like, okay, now she's giving you the space, again, metaphors, to move on. So then it hits her, well, I'm ready to take one more step into the living because I don't want to live with this anymore. And she sees the note at the end. And instead of picking it up like she does at the beginning, she leaves it there. And then the light splashes on her face. And it's through the help of Reese, it's through the help of seeing it for real that starts translating her, starts changing her and allowing herself to live. And then sees that it's worth living because death is something she's not ready for in a way. And it's Reese. Reese is the key to me.
Yeah, it's interesting because you do have, and again, I don't want to give away too much, but we've mentioned the card and we've sort of mentioned the letter. You've
Yeah.
got these two written pieces in
Mhm.
both hands,
Mhm.
essentially.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's what I hope. I really hope, Steve, I really, really hope people get that because it's not just another zombie movie. There's these deeper themes that are running through that you can maybe pick up on, especially like anybody who's that lost teenager in high school can really relate to and maybe find some hope in it. That's what I hope. We've all had that moment in high school, I think. So, yeah.
yeah, it is interesting, and I know I sound like I'm dating myself when I say this, but the more things change, and they do,
Yeah.
still dealing with the same struggles, just in different forms. And I think that a film like this highlights that. Like I really
Yes.
do.
Yeah, exactly. And then we all have our own inner world or our own inner turmoil. We're all battling something. And in this case, it's clear with Sloane, but we're seeing really the movie through her eyes and her emotions. But these other kids are going through their stuff as well. I mean, I don't want to give it away again, but when she goes into the room and sees one of them on the table and the other one, like she's faced with it and it slowly changes her. And then she's like that thing of like, well, now I'm still here and I owe life to live at this point. And then when they ride off together, you can take your next, step.
Absolutely. Honestly, this is not a test. It's so much fun, Adam. And I said fun after all we just talked about. Fun may not be the right word, but
But
it is.
but no, but it's
It is a
okay. No,
thrill.
no, Steve, but it should be too. That can be. It's not like synonymous without the other. That you can't have both. You have to. You have to.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to.
And this is not a test. Does so
Great.
really does.
It is. It should be fun. It should be fun. But makes you think. And in the moments that it needs to sit heavy, it's heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, honestly, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. The film's a blast, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for doing this on this day off. It's the only time I could do it, so I really
No
appreciate it,
worries.
Steve.
No worries. No
Thank you.
worries.